Welcome. My name is Randy Lee, speaking on behalf of the Student Council Historical Commission, or SCHC. And today we have Dr. Sutro here with Mr. Dick Salter, past head football coach and athletic director of Arcadia High School. Coach Salter served a year on Paul Duhart's staff before assuming the head varsity football coach position in 1970. Coach Salter graduated from the University of Oregon and played football and baseball for the Ducks. Coach Salter led the Apache football program from 1970 until 1989. His teams won numerous Pacific League championships and reached the CIF finals in 1977 as well as 1978. He served as athletic director from 1974 until his retirement in 1992. For many of you that may be wondering, our football stadium, Salter Stadium, is actually named after him. Now, please welcome Mr. Dick Salter.
Well, first of all, Dick Salter, welcome home at Arcadia High School.
Thank you very much.
We don't see enough of you, and we're delighted to have you with us this afternoon.
I'm glad to be here, I tell you.
Well, you had a long and distinguished career with the school. Your career has marked the school's progress, and we wanted to talk with you about your reminiscences and your ideas about what remains relevant at Arcadia High. But first, talk about how it is you came to Arcadia High. It's a long time ago, but what attracted you to the job?
Well, I think that I had heard about it. There came up for an interview or whatever you want to call it, and was sold on the people that were here. They seemed very good, and I just said that's the spot to be, and fortunately I got the job.
What was the football program like when you took over?
Well, it's always been it's been good programs. Arcadia High School has had some outstanding program through the years in all phases, and I followed a very good coach, and he decided to retire, so I applied and got the job. So it was very, very good fortune on my part that I got the job. It was a good spot to be, believe me.
Was that your first head coaching job, or had you done that somewhere else?
I'm trying to think. No, I'd been a head coach, but at a small school, so at Villanova Prep School up in Ojai, which was a real small school.
Different
Yes.
kind of setting, my goodness. So
Yeah.
did you, so you moved down here?
Yeah. I was here, moved up to Villanova, and stayed there for a while, then came back down. Yeah.
Do you remember what you thought were the main challenges of the Arcadia job as you took over and started to build your own program?
Well, it was, first of all, it was a large school, and which I was not used to. I was always in a small situation and presented problems of just the vast numbers of kids and everything like that. So, and a very tough conference, and all brand new to me. So it was a challenge that way. All brand new. It had always been a small type of program, and this was a large program, not only in sports but in other phases of all kinds of phases. Programs that were here at Arcadia.
One of the challenges I imagine was the case was that throughout your tenure, this was a 3-year high school.
Right.
And you were playing 4-year schools who had embedded prep programs, which put them at an advantage, I would imagine, to Arcadia.
Yes and no. They were drawing from, but we drew from pretty good schools. The junior high programs and the elementary were all good, so the kids were pretty well prepared for a high school setting. I think they were pretty well prepared.
I noticed that certainly in baseball.
Yeah.
And it was true in football too.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I hadn't thought that was the case. I can't resist this, and truth in packaging. Yours truly worked for 20 years at a school that competed against Arcadia.
Right.
So I got very used to watching you from the other side of the field. As such, I join a whole lot of people from bunches of other schools
Yes,
around that
yes.
played you. You had a very powerful reputation for beating opponents with greater numbers of athletes and more physical athletes. That's how we looked at you.
Yeah.
Do you think that basically was true? And if so, how did you manage to do this?
Well, just the student body alone was large, and we got good talent, and you can't win without good talent, and you better have it to compete. And so we were fortunate to have a large student body with a varied enrollment of different nationalities, which all contributed to success.
Other schools, though, had large enrollments and bigger kids. Now, I remember that everybody was always afraid to play Arcadia unless they were really prepared, because they knew, or they thought they knew, that you would find a way to beat a team that took you for granted.
Well,
Was that on your mind?
I don't think so, Dan. I think that the big thing was that we had a group of kids that were intelligent and worked, and that was the big advantage we had. We had a group of kids that were willing to work and were intelligent, and they approached it that way. It wasn't just a guess. They prepared well. The kids, and there has a lot to do with their background, their parents, the area we're in, and the parents prepared them pretty well for being educated, I think.
Did you find that you could consider installing more complicated offensive and defensive schemes because these kids
Yeah, I think
could follow
so.
you?
I think we could take another step forward
Yeah.
because they handle the situation pretty good.
Yeah, I can remember watching your teams fake out people.
I don't know.
I guess that's part of the plan.
Yeah.
You coached a lot of years.
Yes.
What advice would you offer to a coach who was just starting a career?
Well, first of all is you'd better enjoy it. And you better not worry about long hours. You better enjoy it. You better not worry about long hours, because you're going to have to put the time in, as you know, Ned, to be successful. And anything you do, you have to put the time in, and you have to prepare. So I think those are the two things: preparation and time. If you don't have that, you're not going to be successful.
Is there more preparation and more time in when you're starting out than it is when you've been coaching for a while?
I don't know whether there's more time. As it divides up differently. Once you get into it and know what you're doing, you still put the time in. I don't think you can't cut time. As you know, anything you do, you better be willing to put the time in. And I think that's important.
Now, if you were a coach in, say, middle career, you had been doing this for 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
You plan to continue doing it. You still enjoy it.
Yeah.
How does the job change?
Well, I really don't know. That's a good question, by the way. I think that you just have to have a broader sense of the type of kid you're working with. You know, they all change through the seasons. Kids change as we do as adults, and sometimes you get I think it's a group of kids that sometimes come in really to work, and other times you got kids aren't willing to work, you know, to the extent that you want them to, you know.
You can't make that happen,
No,
can you?
no,
It just
they,
has to be-
they have to, it's, you know, you get a kid and he has got a good background from his parents and his upbringing, and what you can do is hope that you can bring the best out of him. You know, that's the big thing, that you can draw the best from him, and that he won't be a slacker or ease off or anything. And fortunately at Arcadia, we have a lot of good kids that are willing to work. At least they were when I was coaching here.
Well, there's certainly a lot of alumni who feel that they were much better off for having the experience of being coached by you.
Oh,
And your name rings through all the reunions that come around, 20 years and now 30-year reunions
yeah,
for kids.
yeah.
Your oldest athletes must be in their 60s?
Yeah, probably.
Probably at that time?
Yeah.
My age? Could be. Yeah, you were coaching then.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Plus the people that I coached again that were here at that time were top-notch guys too. Tom Hamilton was an outstanding coach, and you'd better be prepared to take him on.
Tom Hamilton was the Pasadena High School coach. And
Yeah.
he held you in a mutual regard, as you
Tom
know.
was a great guy.
How has coaching changed over the years, do you think?
Well, I imagine one thing is they're bigger staffs now. Yeah, they got many more kids that are playing, and but the staffs are much larger. I think we did it with the first, when I first started, one assistant.
Really?
Yeah, just one assistant, and then
Both sides of the game?
yes,
Really?
yeah, and but then all of a sudden, more coaches, more people went into coaching, which helped our situation immensely.
Was it competition, schools competing and adding staff that caused that
I think so. I think you're right.
in order to keep running
To
with
keep
the
up,
game?
you had to be prepared, and the more you could be prepared would be a bigger staff and different responsibilities. Yeah.
I know you had opportunities to leave high school coaching, to leave AHS for other schools. You chose to stay here. What kept you here?
Oh, I imagine the situation. It was just a great school. Is a great school to be at, I should say. And to me, I found a home. And why jump away from what I consider a very, very solid, good job? I had great people to work with, great administrators. Community was fine. Yeah, I couldn't be in a better situation as far as I was concerned.
I know you had a chance after you retired to coach with your son.
Yes.
That's unusual.
Yeah, yeah.
Talk a little about how that feels to have a...
Oh, yeah, I was so proud of my sons for their coaching, and see, my dad was a teacher too. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was a teacher. He didn't end up as a teacher, but he started out as a teacher.
I didn't know.
He taught at Chafee
Really?
way back when it was first started.
What did he teach?
He was in the the agricultural end of it. That was his major, and he I would say that he was mainly in the agricultural end of the teaching.
Did he play ball?
Not he played ball, but not to that extent.
Did he watch you coach?
He did. He
Here?
he loved going to games and things
Here?
like that. Yeah, I don't know whether he was still alive when I was here or not. I can't remember, to be honest with you.
That would be
A
the
long
same
time.
kind of kick
Huh?
for him as
Yeah.
you got.
Oh yeah, yeah.
him. You know, you talk about building a program here and deciding to stay here. What qualities do you think make this school stand out from others? Qualities that you think are the most important for us to keep and retain?
Well, first of all, you get a pretty intelligent group of kids.
Yeah.
And this is a plus, believe me, to have kids that understand what's going on. They're well aware of what's happening. They are involved in a lot of things not only sports but other activities, and they put forth a great effort. I think the effort and the knowledge, and they see the rewards, and I don't think they play for the rewards, but they play and they get the rewards, you know. They just, by participating and getting into it, and they do this in all kinds of activities. I think it was, to me, a great school. I was fortunate. Great school.
I couldn't disagree with you. Well, Dick, we're so glad that you came down to join us and to be on the record. And on behalf of the Historical Commission of the Student Council and the school here, know that you're welcome back here anytime.
Well,
this is your
thank you
home.
so much, Ned. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.